Welcome back, everybody. So glad you could be with me here today. Walter at the workbench. So, a question came up from one of our viewers in regards to joiner planes. And no, this is not a joiner plane. This is my number 5. About putting pressure down on the knob when making a cut, or putting pressure down on the middle of the plane when making a cut. Gets different results. So the first thing we all have to remember is cast iron is not 100% static, especially for hand planes. It's thin. The cheek is here to stiffen the plane. And you'll see on some planes, they even put ribs in here to make it stiffer. Cast iron will bend. So, if I put pressure down on the knob and I'm pushing the tote through, I can get a different result than if I'm just gripping the plane here and guiding it. And then if I put pressure here, I can get a different result. So, part of that can also be the fact that the sole is not flat. And we've tinkered with a lot of planes this year, some of which were not flat. Now, my number 6, my number 5 are close enough to flat for all the work I want to do. I keep them sharp, I keep them clean, I'm good to go. So, it's not a great piece of wood because I'm going against the grain here and then I'm going with the grain. Doesn't matter. I've shown this test to you before. I'll show it again. You get a piece of wood. If you have a decent straight edge, whether it's a wooden one or a metal one, but you know it to be straight, you've tested it. You check your wood. We've got a little bit of a hollow from here to here. So, first thing I want to do is come out here where that hollow sort of begins and plane off the ends. And come back and plane that end off. Then come back here, plane this end off. And test the wood again. Hollow from here to here. All right. Take a little bit more off here. A little bit more off there. What I'm trying to do here is get it as straight as I can with the plane that I want to test. And there we go. So that doesn't really have a belly in it, or it's not convex, it's not concave. Now, you take the plane you want to test, you set it for the finest cut you can get out of it. Naturally, a good sharp blade would be helpful. So I'm getting wisps, okay? So you go all along the board, take those wisps. Now, you come in the middle, make a pass. Come back a little bit, make a pass. Come back a little bit, make a pass. Come back. And then one last pass. So you see the type of shaving I'm getting? It's just wispy. So what that should have done is create a hollow right there. Okay? Not big, but there's a hollow. If, on the other hand, you were to test it and you have hollows out on the ends, you will have created a convex surface. So, for my work, this plane is as flat as it needs to be. So no matter where I put pressure on this plane, okay, it's going to make about the same type of cut. I don't have to put pressure on the knob. I don't have to put pressure in the middle. In fact, I don't have to put pressure at all. Got it? Now, the question came up because of a large jointer. The viewer that wrote in said when he puts pressure on the knob, he gets a different cut than when he puts pressure in the middle. Like I said, cast iron is not static, it will bend. So you set up to take the finest cut. Okay, we're back at the wisps. And you start in the middle, go back, and go back. Now, a truly flat plane, I'm talking to 5/10,000ths of an inch, okay, will stop cutting in the middle here when you do this type of test. It'll actually stop cutting. So the feeler gauge is going in, but it's tight. Nothing on the end, nothing there. See, I got a little bit of a hollow right there. Okay? And that's about the best way I can explain it. If you have to put any sort of down pressure on a plane, you're either not sharp or your plane is not flat. You should be able to take a plane and just pass it across the wood and get a cut, as long as you don't foul it. Does that make sense? So get yourself a decent straight edge. And if you don't have a feeler gauge, don't worry. Go get a pack of cigarette paper and you can test with that, because that's approximately 1/1000th of an inch. And we've talked about making wooden straight edges in the past. Maybe we'll make some more again in the future. But this isn't even the top of the line. This is an eye gauging 24-inch graduated. It's got a beveled edge here. I rely on the wider flat section rather than the pointy section, because the pointy section doesn't stand up. Appreciate you stopping by. I hope you got something useful, helpful, maybe entertaining. I got my mic on today, so that's working. Like, subscribe, and share. Head out to your shop and go make some shavings. Walter out.